Baba!
Stop right there. Underneath! Go!
Keep your hands up. Don't move.
Turn right around. Come on.
In Lebanon, 1983, two young brothers are playing inside their home when their mother scolds them for ignoring their chores. They step outside to feed the chickens, only to witness American drones flying overhead and launching bombs on their village. Their house is destroyed in the attack. Years later in Washington, D.C. CIA financial analyst Jack Ryan works in the Terror Finance Division. While biking to work one morning, a car nearly hits him and the driver angrily insults him before speeding off. Jack makes it to the office and joins his colleagues for a briefing. The man from the car turns out to be James Greer, a seasoned CIA officer and former station chief recently reassigned from Karachi. Greer meets with Deputy Director Nathan Singer and complains about being stuck in what he views as a meaningless desk assignment. Singer reminds him that after past mistakes, this position is a second chance many people would not have received. Greer joins the team and asks everyone to introduce themselves, jokingly calling Jack Lance Armstrong. Jack explains that he has been tracking financial transfers in Yemen and has flagged several transactions as suspicious. He believes they are connected to a high-value target named Suleiman. When Jack tries to justify his theory, Greer brushes it off and shows little interest. At the same time, in Syria, Hanin Ali, Suleiman's wife, spends time with her children while armed fighters guard their compound. A convoy led by Sheikh al-Radwan arrives and demands to know where Suleiman is. Hanin refuses to answer, telling him that her husband's affairs are none of his concern. Later that evening, Jack receives a call from his former supervisor, Joe, who invites him to a party at his home. Jack hesitates but agrees to attend. That night, he struggles to sleep and relives painful memories from his time deployed in the Middle East. Arriving at work early the next morning, Jack reviews the day's transactions and notices something alarming. He brings the discovery to Greer, explaining that 6 transfers passed through a shell company into one account totaling $9 million. Jack believes Suleiman is no longer hiding his movements and that a major operation is already underway. Greer remains skeptical, doubting that Suleiman even exists. Jack insists this is a chance to stop another bin Laden and urges Greer to freeze the account immediately. Greer refuses, saying Jack is jumping to conclusions and shuts the idea down. Frustrated and discouraged, Jack walks away. In Syria, Sheikh al-Radwan oversees a convoy carrying trucks loaded with weapons and explosives, signaling that a major operation is being prepared. At the same time, Jack quietly takes action by freezing the suspicious bank account without receiving approval from Greer. When Greer discovers what Jack has done, he confronts him in anger, reminding him that his role is to analyze data, not make operational decisions. Jack defends himself, arguing that delaying action will cost innocent lives. Meanwhile, in Yemen, intelligence forces storm a safe house and capture several men connected to the financial transfers. Under questioning, the suspects confess they were hired to move money on Suleiman's behalf. One of them warns that Suleiman is planning something massive. That evening, Jack attends Joe's gathering and reunites with his wife, Kathy, while catching up with former coworkers. Joe later introduces Jack to members of a CIA unit who pull him aside and explain that he has been selected to travel to Yemen to personally help identify Suleiman's network. Although Jack feels uneasy about entering a dangerous environment, he agrees to the mission, knowing this opportunity could confirm that his investigation is correct. Jack travels to Yemen alongside a CIA unit commanded by Matisse and his operators. They weave through the streets until they spot a messenger believed to be working for Suleiman. The team trails him into a busy market filled with civilians. Without warning, gunmen strike, firing into the crowd and turning the area into a war zone. Panic spreads as shoppers flee in every direction. In the middle of the battle, Jack is wounded and comes close to being killed, but Mattis pulls him to safety. After eliminating the attackers, the team withdraws from the scene. Back in Washington, Greer and Singer analyze video from the mission and understand that Suleiman's network is far more sophisticated and dangerous than they assumed. Jack is later treated in a hospital, deeply affected by the violence. Greer comes to see him and finally admits Jack's suspicions were justified. He apologizes for ignoring Jack's concerns before. At the same time, Suleiman responds with overwhelming force. He commands his followers to retaliate against U.S. interests without hesitation. A bomber explodes outside a CIA safe location, wiping out several agents. Soon after, another strike occurs, proving that Suleiman is intensifying the war. Tragedy strikes when his own wife and young daughter die during one of the explosions. Their deaths transform his anger into obsession. Consumed by sorrow and fury, Suleiman swears vengeance and pushes his network to become even more aggressive and organized as he plans the next wave of attacks. After healing from his wounds, Jack goes back to duty with renewed focus. He is more committed than ever to hunting down Suleiman and shutting down his terror network. the CIA steps up its monitoring operations, tapping communications and tracing financial transactions connected to Suleiman's organization. Jack and Greer uncover that Suleiman relies on an intricate system of messengers and fake businesses to secretly transport weapons and cash between countries. Even with political limits and legal risks, Jack pressures the agency to respond more aggressively. Greer wrestles with the ethical and legal fallout of every choice they make. As the danger spreads, the divide between intelligence work and military action becomes sharper than ever. Suleiman's organization begins launching synchronized strikes in different regions. Explosions and gunfire spread fear and push governments around the world into emergency response mode. Inside the CIA, officials argue over whether Suleiman should be labeled an enemy fighter, which would permit them to eliminate him rather than simply track him. Jack insists that hesitation will only give Suleiman more time to expand his reach. Greer cautions that once they cross this boundary, the conflict could spiral into permanent warfare. Government authorities demand immediate action, worried that more innocent lives will be lost if nothing is done. In the end, approval is given for a direct assassination mission aimed at taking Suleiman out. Matisse and his elite unit begin organizing the strike to take down Suleiman. They construct a full battle plan using surveillance photos and intelligence data gathered from multiple sources. Jack sits in on the briefing, carefully examining the structure of the compound. The group reviews exit paths and considers the risk posed to nearby civilians. Greer warns that a failed mission could cause serious political fallout. Jack argues that this opportunity cannot be wasted if they want to prevent further bloodshed. The operatives gear up, checking their weapons and supplies while preparing themselves for what could be their most dangerous assignment yet. When darkness arrives, the team climbs into helicopters and flies toward the target, fully aware that not everyone may survive the mission. Under the cover of night, the strike team reaches Suleiman's stronghold. They move quietly, taking out guards and breaking through the outer defenses. Once inside, fierce battles erupt as Suleiman's fighters push back. Gunshots and blasts thunder through the compound as chaos spreads from building to building. Several of Mattis's operatives lose their lives in the exchange of fire. Even so, the remaining members force their way deeper into the compound, determined to complete the mission. Jack storms into one of the structures, hoping to capture Suleiman, only to find deserted rooms and evidence that their target has already fled. The operation ultimately fails, with Suleiman escaping yet again. Following the disastrous mission, the team pulls back and reflects on the lives that were lost. Matisse grieves for his fallen soldiers and wonders if the price they paid was too high. Greer comes under intense criticism from government officials who hold the CIA responsible for the failed strike. Jack struggles with guilt, knowing he helped push for aggressive action. New intelligence shows that Suleiman has disappeared and is planning yet another large-scale attack. Although worn down and shaken, Jack refuses to stop. He persuades Greer that they must keep pursuing Suleiman to prevent further tragedy. The agency focuses on tracing Suleiman's recent trail, preparing for what could be their last chance to stop him. Suleiman and his followers make final preparations for another strike while intelligence agencies scramble to stop them in time. Jack and Greer coordinate with foreign authorities, assembling fragments of information to track Suleiman's path and anticipate where he will strike next. Their findings reveal a planned chemical assault targeting a major European city. Although divisions form within the CIA about how to proceed, Jack pushes for immediate action, warning that delay will cost countless lives. A specialized unit is formed and sent out to dismantle Suleiman's operation. As the mission begins, teams hit several locations at once, sealing off escape routes and capturing members of the terrorist network. During the confusion, Suleiman tries to run but is eventually trapped. Jack comes face to face with him, holding him accountable for the devastation he has caused. In the end, Suleiman is killed, ending his campaign of violence. With Suleiman eliminated, Jack and Greer provide a full report to the CIA detailing how the mission successfully neutralized the terrorist network. Jack finally returns to the United States, taking a moment to rest and process the intense events he faced overseas. He reconnects with Kathy, and they enjoy a peaceful evening together, a rare reprieve from the life or death situations he had been living. International authorities continue to track down and detain any remaining members of Suleiman's group, making sure the network is fully dismantled. Word of the mission spreads, and Jack receives recognition for his pivotal role in averting disaster. The story concludes with justice served and Jack looking forward to a future where he can merge his personal happiness with his duty to safeguard others.